Want to see a fun card project featuring some new products from Concord and Ninth? Hey everyone, it's Cathy Zielske. Welcome back to my channel and my studio. Today I've got a very fun mix and match sort of card using some pattern paper, dies. I'm going to cut things apart. I'm going to layer things. It's a melange of crafty goodness. To see that card project, stick around. It's coming up next. I have a host of gorgeous products today from Concord and Ninth to create this card project. And hopefully this will inspire you to mix and match, to think about your pattern papers, to just kind of have a play. And you can always take things from other sets and make them work together. So I'm going to get started with some die cutting. I want to use this gorgeous large panel die, but I want to cut it out of some pattern paper and then build up some dimension with some white cardstock and then fill in the details. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is actually go ahead and cut this floral pattern out of some poppy cardstock. And this cardstock works beautifully from Concord and Ninth with this pattern. I'm just going to tape this in place, and I use a Gemini Junior for all of my die cutting. But what I do is I have a clear Gemini plate and a green double-sided die plate. Now I tape these together with packing tape. I learned this from my friend Jennifer McGuire, and my plates stay so straight. Now I did just replace a plate after 6 months of use, so I always cut into the same plate, and I always use the same plate for the top. So I'll go like this, and I'll go ahead and flip it blade side up. It doesn't really matter, and I'll go over to my die cut machine. And here's my Gemini Junior, and I'm going to run this through. I keep my Gemini Junior on a rotating design board from Totally Tiffany, and it works great as a Lazy Susan. Now I'm going to take a look and pull this out, and I will go ahead and pop all of this out. I'll bring in a little foam pad. It just makes it a little bit easier for me to press out the die cut and make sure that we have everything coming out as intended. So it takes a little time, but once you have everything popped out, look at that gorgeous panel of florals. Next, I'm going to bring the panel back and pop in this little piece that cuts out the centers. I'm just going to tape that to kind of hold it into place. Let me run that through and pop out all of the insides again. Now the next idea, I've kind of changed my mind here a little, because what I want to do is I want to glue this onto the red, but offset this ever so slightly so it has a shadow. So I'm going to use some liquid glue. This is Connect glue from Gina K Designs, and I use Gina's little squeeze bottles just to have, oh, let's see here though, you got to make sure all your die cuts are up before you do this. And look, the pin works as a poker too. Just let me take a quick peek around. Okay, I am going to go ahead and just add a little glue dots all over this piece so that I can layer this on. Actually, I'm switching to this one because this is going to be the one with the offset. So I just want to make sure that the offset piece, or the piece on top, is the one with the glue. It doesn't really matter, but I feel like because of those little openings, I didn't want to have too much glue in the center. And then all I'm going to do is just hold this and delicately place it down. I want to have a slight offset of the entire thing. So doesn't have to be perfect. We just want to see that beautiful red cardstock underneath like that. Woo! It doesn't look like much yet, but it does definitely give it a dimension. So I'm going to give this a nice press with my comfort block. This is also from Gina K Designs. And now I've turned that pattern paper and the piece underneath into this beautiful dimensional layered thing with just a little dimension and that little bit of red shadow. All right, moving on. I went ahead and created a US A2 note card. This is top folding 4 1/4 wide by 5 1/2 tall. I die cut the Love, Love, Love You twice out of white cardstock and once out of the Poppy Red, which of course is the same color that backs this up. My thinking is kind of crazy, but what I'm gonna do is I think this is gonna look so pretty on here, but I want to cut this apart so that I only have a partial die cut onto my note card. The benefit will be I'll get two pieces out of one that could be used on an identical card. So I'm going to take some sharp scissors and just sort of go right in here and kind of just cut. Now here's the thing, I can clean this up when I'm done, and it doesn't have to be perfect because this is such an abstract kind of a floral pattern, right? So you just kind of cut. And I think I will also, let's see, I would like it to go at an angle. So maybe I will, no, you know what? I'm doing a die haircut. I'll trim this out, I think like that, because I can now use this as part of the piece. And I can come in here and just kind of clean that up like that. And I can use that on another piece, or if you were making a larger card, you could even just separate it on your panel. But I am going to set that aside for now. And here's the other fun thing. I can go in this order like, oh, I actually really like that. Or you could flip it, right? And have that be at the base. But see, I like where my shadow is. Yeah, you know what? That is definitely the vibe I'm going for. So so I've glued this down onto the panel using a little bit of liquid glue. And now I'm just going to place a few squares. I'm actually going to take some smaller pieces. I always forget which side is which. There we go. I want to make sure that that is supported, and this little friend up here. And I want to see where this aligns, because I might not need anything under here. Or if I do, I can probably get away with a thinner foam square. So let me grab one. I have some thinner depth foam squares that I'm going to place over here. And let's see how that works. All right. That way, I want to make sure that I am positioned where I want it to be. I may need to move this one. All right. Don't be afraid to tear them up if you have to, because if you don't press too hard, they do come up fairly easily, because I like that. I like that positioning. So I think, do I need one up top? I think I need one right in here. Okay, and maybe on the bottom. Yes, and on the bottom. We'll take that little piece and put that here. And I think that should be enough. I'm not too worried about that, although, well, maybe I will put a little thin strip right on the L just to protect it from getting smashed down. Okay, like that. Maybe one more there. Okay. Now I'll take all of the backers off of here. Now let me grab my tweezers here so I can see what I'm doing. And I like to do this, which is add liquid glue to my foam squares, just a few dots, because then again, it gives me a little bit of wiggle room before, well, and I don't really worry about those too much because those aren't going to press down and stick too hard, but I want to have just that little bit of play time before I put this down, where I know that my greeting is going to be exactly where I want it. And I love this position because it is really offset and it really balances out with this lovely pattern up here, right? And then you come down into the lower right quadrant for the greeting. I love that. All right, let's add a little bling. Before I bling this up, I actually went ahead and stamped "My Dear Friend" onto some more of the Ballet Slipper cardstock, and then I die cut a second banner just to kind of shore it up a bit. And I think this would be so cute, just swooping over the top like that. Sometimes it's okay to do sort of a subtle tone-on-tone sort of embellishment on a card project like this. So I'm going to take the backers off, and I just have the thicker foam square on this one. And again, I will add a little liquid glue, and then we will place this at a little angle, and it kind of helps to balance the card out a little too. I kind of like that. So now I have this little friend floating over the top as a little sub-greeting like that. And actually, let's bring it down a little bit more. There we go. There we go. And press. All right, now I will add a little bit of bling. To finish this card out, I just took 2 enamel dots for either side of the banner, and then I popped a bigger one right into the swoop-de-doo, and that's all I'm gonna do. So that is the finished card project. You can find links to all the supplies I used in today's video in the YouTube description box. I would love to have you become a subscriber to my channel, so please hit that subscribe button, hit the like, and I will see you back here with another card project soon.